one girl had to get a helicopter come to rescue her on bronze DV.
Oh my god!
Surely a Land Rover would suffice.
We still talk about it every day.
The weird is it was during the volunteering. It wasn't even the expedition.
Yeah, it was just a volunteering in a nursing home.
Just
she
at
was
a
like,
soup
this
kitchen,
stinks.
just calling in the helicopter. I can't do this.
Well.
Well.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
What did everybody do for
HNY?
New Year?
I hung out with some comedians, and they have a flat with a roof on it, and they're really near water.
Luxury. How do they afford that?
I think by not having comedy as their full-time job, I think that'd be
That's
interesting.
the biggest life hack there is.
Most of us are living in the kind of walled courtyard apartment. Rain comes straight in. No.
But it was so near Waterloo, and the fire was so big it blasted my face off. It was great.
Did you see the Brat bit where it said like
Yeah,
London
I liked
and Charlie
that.
and Charlie the acid green?
I was too busy trying to Instagram the whole thing. I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
You've always got to pay attention to the London Eye, because the London Eye is like whatever it says is like that was what is important that year.
You can't imagine how horrible it is being on a roof with 12 comedians all trying to riff about fireworks.
No,
Ruining the fireworks for everyone. And all the other flats were there.
No.
They were just enjoying it. They had, their family. They were just holding their families. There we are, riffing, desperately trying to add to our Instagram stories. Absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, that's
so sad. It's
Yeah.
when
That's
you're
my
in
worst
a.
nightmare.
What is the plural for comedians? Like a
You just said it, didn't you?
a school of comedians. Do you know what I mean? Like a
like a
gaggle.
collective noun.
A
Yeah.
green room.
A green
That's
room
really
of
good.
comedians.
Green room.
That's
Thank
really
you.
nice. No, that's really nice. I really
An
like that.
allegation of comedians.
An allegation of comedians. But it is when you're in those specific situations that you realise how desperately sad it is to be a comedian. Because you feel everyone's neediness emanating off of them.
Yeah.
They're needed, but to be liked.
Also, when you're not like, so I have not, this is the first time I'm seeing comedians and I want to say 2 weeks. Wow. And you really,
Huge.
in conversation, realize that like laughter isn't currency to other people. Other people just say things and then like, and I'll be like, oh, like that's not even funny. And it's like, yeah, you could say stuff that's not funny and it's
Yeah.
okay.
I've
Yeah.
never had conversations.
It could be
like-
just interesting.
Yeah. I've heard other people be happy with, have you seen Squid Games? No. We'll watch it. It's
And
really
you're
good.
waiting for the punchline.
And
You're like, the setup is done.
Yeah. And that's it. That's the whole thing. They love that. It's like, that's enough. To be like, yeah, I will go home and watch Squid Games.
Thank you for the recommendation.
Yeah.
People fall in love
that's
over
it.
a conversation like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I have seen Squid Games. Oh, shit.
He likes
There's a-
Netflix too.
There's a good thing the music was over Up, the start of Up, because the conversations were terrible. Can you imagine what was your day like at the balloon thing you do? Fine. I feel ill.
Did he even do the balloon thing
We
when they
should
were
go to
still
hospital.
together?
Yeah, that's good.
Did the balloons come after she died?
No, he was a balloon guy I think they both worked in a zoo or something. He was the balloon guy and she works at the zoo.
Oh,
From
okay.
what I remember.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
Wait, can I make it any
So,
more
wait,
obvious?
they I think they worked together and lived together. Can you imagine an existence
There's
like
nothing to
that?
talk about.
Yeah.
No.
There
Yeah,
is
that is a
nothing to
nightmare.
talk
Especially when you're selling balloons. They're not even like good balloons. Just like, what did you sell today? Like 3
Loads of
reds,
balloons. Yeah.
Imagine,
2 blues.
imagine if at the end of Up, the old man like gets confronted in a McDonald's car park by some like Essex van men on TikTok. Like, you should be ashamed of yourself, mate. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. How old is that boy?
And he's like in a dressing gown. He's
They're all
like,
like
I
stood
had no
really
idea, I had
close
no
to him,
idea.
like
They
forehead to
keep it on the
forehead.
montage. Da-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na. Da-dun-dun. Da-dun-dun.
He's like, he was just comforting me in grief, please. That's what they all say, mate.
Yeah,
I
that
did
opening
once.
sequence cuts deep in Up.
It doesn't cut me deep enough.
Really?
No, I say more. I scream it at the screen.
What more do you want?
Dog to die.
The
You
the
want a
woman-
Marley and me
The
up?
woman dies. That's
I want
quite
him.
sad.
I want him to. So what I want is right. So the funeral happens, right? Then he gets a dog, right? The puppy, right?
Gets run
Russian
over by a
gangsters
car.
take the dog. He
Yeah.
gets a gun. He gets a big
Okay.
sledgehammer. He goes through the floor, takes a gun out of the floor.
Yeah.
It's
Gun
John-
out of the floor.
Yeah, gun out of the floor. He
You
kills.
want a John Wick it?
Yeah, I want him to be John Wick.
Wow.
He used to shoot balloons and then he like swore off and he's like, I'll only sell balloons.
Yeah.
But then
Oh,
they make him
that's
go
fun.
back.
Yeah.
The thing about the beginning of Up is I've talked about this many times before, but the very fact that the opening line to You Don't Know You're Beautiful by One Direction is You're Insecure. And
Yeah.
it's sort of just says it how it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like Pixar really were like, well, let's just go full nuclear first
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's not build up. Let's just
Yeah.
press the buttons,
Mm-hmm.
the G spots for tears.
And
Yeah.
also, it's so crazy because it proves that you don't need to build the character at
You
all.
don't even need to hear their voices or know what they are.
or not
what
really
like.
what their names are or what they did. You just need to see some pictures and have some sad music, and that's enough.
Yeah.
We
With
are
the,
animals.
with the One Direction song. So let's say I'm singing that song to you.
Yeah, I'm insecure.
Yeah. So I go. You don't know you're beautiful.
Yeah.
Right. That's what makes you beautiful.
Yeah.
You then know you're beautiful.
Yeah.
So does that stop you
I
being
get
beautiful?
I get ugly.
Yeah.
But so
It's
is
the
it-
ultimate neg.
It's the selfish. It's a selfish thing of me being like, I want to tell you something, but by that
You'll ruin
you
it.
then stop.
It's like a Greek
becoming-
myth.
Yeah,
almost.
it's
Yeah.
philosophy.
Yeah.
So it
This
is
is
the whole like
philosophy.
intention of the song that the person that it's about can never hear it.
So it's a song that they wish they could sing to someone,
Yeah, but they can't.
but also
because-
vague enough that it could get like maybe like 50,000 teenagers would be like, that's me.
But then
'Cause
they'll
they
all
couldn't
be
tell
Yeah,
me.
ugly.
it has to be vague enough, but also universal to teenagers. And the one thing you can say about teenage girls is they're all insecure.
Insecure.
And one
Yeah.
thing you can say about them is they can never talk directly to a member of One Direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would never
Not
know. it was you.
legally.
Yeah, well, yeah, not legally.
But also, I wouldn't say that we don't know what for. I would say that all you have to do is listen to them, and then you know exactly what for.
Right.
Hmm.
It's because they
Hmm.
don't know they're beautiful.
But yeah,
Yeah.
And they never can.
they can never know that they're.
It's like
beautiful.
Cassandra, just trapped.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an Aesop's fable.
Mm. Yeah, they need like a kindly ox to tell them that they're beautiful. An ox is like, yeah, I pull stuff
You
all
don't know
day
you're
long.
beautiful. The ox tells you that you're beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know what I'd plow when you're old enough?
No. What did you guys do at
What?
New Year's?
I went to my friend's farm
Ooh.
in Lancashire,
Very cool.
and it was really nice. And
Jeremy Clarkson.
I fed Jeremy Clarkson's farm, and then we went to a protest together, and it was really cool. And I fed some sheep,
Ooh.
and it was really nice.
Do you mean like out of your hand, or
Yeah,
you put
out
it?
my
what,
hand.
what are you
Really
feeding the
good.
sheep?
She called it cake. It was not cake. It was brown pellets.
I know exactly what the cake is. You know why? Because I just went to a whiskey distillery tour on the Isle of Mull. Thank you so much. And there they explained to us that like all the hops from beer making and whiskey making, then they're then essentially mixed with all the sugars discarded in the distillery process, and they're made into sheep feed.
sheep feed because they
And it's called
normally
cake.
eat like hay and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was a little treat.
It's like a little
It's a
a
beer
New Year's
byproduct.
treat.
But
And I
they
hope
weren't even
enjoyed
used
it.
for anything. These sheep, they were just hanging out. It was like they're just there as kind of pets.
They're
But
not like sheared for wool or anything.
They're sheared out of kindness, but the wool is worth so little that it's like they don't really sell the wool. It's not worth anything.
I'll take it off the hands.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
We're
What if
talking
I'm
about free
crazy
will
though?
in Lancashire.
It was a frosted morning. We went to look at the sheep. They were frozen. Their fur was actually frozen solid.
Oh fuck.
Yeah,
I thought that's
like
But it's-
like real snow animals, like snowmen.
yeah.
The
I
snow
didn't know
sheep.
that was.
But
a
I bet
thing.
it's really
They have to
warm on the
microwave the
inside
sheep
because
to
it
melt them.
insulates.
Yeah.
You can't touch it. Leave it for the minute. Let,
Yeah.
let it stand. Let it stand.
You have to microwave them, take them out, stir them a bit, and then put them back
put
in.
it back in.
Yeah, you don't want a hot spot in the middle of
No,
the sheep
no,
somewhere.
no. It'll explode. Otherwise, it'll
Another
ruin your
lonely evening,
microwave.
just me and my one sheep.
Yeah.
I'd microwave.
Like a 4 million like tweet that's like being microwave low key must feel good AF for a sheep. They just come out of that big sheep microwave on the farm and they're like, oh yeah, cheers for that, mate. That's loosen me up.
How much microwaving would is it instant kill? Sorry, I'm slouching. In my slouching era.
Yeah, come
I'm
on.
allowed
This is
to
a
slouch.
1950s podcast. You've
Is a
gotta-
microwave an instant kill?
Yeah, definitely.
How many seconds do you think before
What
you
about
die?
if a blue whale was
20?
microwaved for 1 second?
How big? Well, what
The thing
wattage?
is, that's why I love having you on this
1,000 watts?
podcast.
What are we talking?
On
Let's go
defrost.
750,
On
stop 750.
defrost. Defrost for 1 second. Blue whale.
I think he'd be fine.
Yeah, I reckon he'd be fine.
Well, defrost
He
is
might
like
be a bit
weird
stupid
setting.
afterwards. Yeah, defrost. What is defrost?
It does like I actually I don't know
Is it
why I
low and
learned about
slow?
this.
So
It's like a
Bella, when
thaw?
when you have like a food, right?
Yeah.
and it's not just mashed potatoes and broth.
Broth, yeah. Okay, fine, you've
So
exposed me.
for people not aware,
Mashed potatoes and broth.
So Bella's
Traditional
diet
English
is,
food.
and I hate to bring this up on the, but your diet is just say it.
Broth
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and mashed potato.
Yeah.
Where are we getting the broth? Are we just doing the cubes?
Sainsbury's chicken and vegetable broth.
You're like the witches from Macbeth. Like it's all
But
broth.
it's just me, and I do put it all in one big bowl.
You'd know that sounds like you have dentures.
Yeah, maybe it sounds that way. I do
Yeah.
like not having to chew though. It's so comforting to like not have to crunch.
You should have cabbage soup.
Your
I
Bevo
do
Maxim.
sometimes. I do just love a big. That was the first thing I ever said to you when we met for the first time.
It was our friend anniversary.
Our friend anniversary
was really was Christmas party, wasn't it? Yeah.
And we were talking about the broth. I don't know why, it's probably autism, but I love to have like 8 tubs of broth in the fridge and 8 tubs of mash. And that's what I have for every meal.
Oh, so you're not making any of it? You're just
No,
buying
I'm putting it all in the microwave and stirring it together.
I think that's really chic.
I think it's a depressive tendency, but I think it is maybe also chic.
I'm throwing you a bone, and you are throwing it right back straight into my face.
Yeah, no, she doesn't like. She only likes really soft
bone broth.
Bone is too chewy, way too chewy.
Yeah. But I think my flatmate, who is really good at spreadsheets, was like secretly recording it.
What a flatmate is! one housemate just eating broth and mashed potatoes out of the microwave. Another housemate just fucking spreadsheets for everything.
And she was like keeping track of how long I was having it for, and I think it was like every day for 7 months.
This is like 2 different kinds of OCD interacting at the same time.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
And if I can't have it, I do get anxiety. But then one day I will just like wake up and feel such visceral disgust towards the thing that I have been deeply relying on. Need to change it up.
I think it's hilarious. You know that TV show where they put all the food on the table to show you eating, but they couldn't even do it with you because it's just all the soup dripping off the side, the broth dripping off the side.
You know the mashed potato you ate this week,
and it looks like Himalayas. It's just.
I think about. Are you familiar with Dr. Christian Jessen?
Yes.
I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. And Super Size versus Super Skinny. So that was
the
like
buff doctor from
one of the what's it? The kind of the part of your brain that stores the deep stuff you can't get rid of. That's where Super Size versus Super Skinny is in my brain.
Okay.
As a TV program, because they had like a really fat person and a really thin person who was like, I'm so skinny, I hate myself. But then we all knew that was everyone's goal. And they would do a tube and they would show all of the food that person had eaten that week.
And it'll be like a raisin.
And it would be like, a raisin, 1 Weetabix, and like 16 cups of tea.
Right.
And then the fat
like
person.
4 little bags of cocaine in there.
Yeah, exactly. And then the fat person would be like 18 Mars bars, 16 roast chickens, 1 million pints of full fat Coke.
Hell yeah.
Like the diet of the Cyclops from the Odyssey. Just like...
Loads of whipped cream, like just so disgusting. And then they'd have to stand there in their underwear looking at the tube and it would like zoom in on their face. It was so scary.
Mm. What was
that sounds like peak 90s television, early 2000s.
Was the format that they swapped diets? Is that what it is?
They swapped diets, And the skinny person would be like, this is gross. You're really fat. I can't eat this. And the fat person would be like, I'm so hungry.
Yeah.
By the time you're on roast chicken 14, it's a tough morning.
Yeah.
It's a brutal morning.
Yeah. Post chicken run.
Post-chicken run.
Yeah.
Can I say something in regards to your flatmate keeping track?
Mm-hmm.
My flatmate did
Shout
something...
out Phil. God bless him.
Phil Wang.
Yeah. I live with Phil Wang.
Yeah.
He documented every faux pas that my ex made in a long note on his phone.
Wow,
So,
that's hateful.
Basically,
Must have been a long
one
note.
time he watched my ex, and we won't say which one, open a tube of tomato paste. And you know how you need to flip the cap to pierce the foil at the top of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to do it. And instead of helping him, he just watched and documented the note.
Psychopathic. Wow.
So I already know which one it is. Just from
Yeah, so
I already know.
It's not so much a faux pas that as like being genuinely. It's like one that you remember that sitcom Cavemen that never got off the ground, where it was based on that ad. It was like an insurance ad.
Yeah, that is crazy that they did a sitcom of that.
Yeah,
that
where they
is
had
nuts.
Cavemen, and
Wait,
then there was this,
which I don't know about this.
Oh, okay. So there was an insurance ad in America in
I think I know which one,
2005.
I think I know which one you mean. I didn't know they
Yeah.
made it into a sitcom.
Yeah, they made it into a sitcom, and it's one of the worst things you will ever see. You can only watch it on YouTube in like 144p.
Cool.
Pause this and go and watch Cavemen,
Actually,
and then you'll understand what I'm
pause the
talking
record
about.
and watch it? I mean,
I want to see this.
And it somehow manages to be racist,
Cool.
despite
Oh.
because
It's
they
so-
sort of.
yeah.
I'm now trying to remember. We watched it for a podcast ages ago, but they basically they try and insinuate that cavemen are kind of like black people. Like that's the dynamic they try and create. So they're
Okay.
kind of, but they all, and it's so weird because it's like the idea is that it's not like their cavemen have been thawed out. They're not like, we found this caveman in a peat bog and we've managed to microwave him and now he's alive. It's like cavemen never died out and they're still here, but they're all like, oh, tough day, but I hate caveman not supposed to. And it's like, no, but you would have changed in the intervening thousands and thousands of years. You would have adapted to, like we did, because we were also like that. Like that is what happened. Cavemen did survive. They just became us.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not. And then I was just like, I shouldn't be interrogating the concept of this in this much detail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what the developers did, and that's why it didn't get off.
Do you have a spin that is good on having cavemen in present day?
Interesting.
You don't have to answer that if you don't.
I love I didn't want to watch. I really wanted to watch Hot Frosty, the Netflix Christmas film.
So good.
I watched that movie.
So
nobody let me watch it
No.
because they all said no, Bella, you can't watch that.
No, for you,
What
I
is
think it'd be
it?
unhealthy. Yeah.
Okay, why?
I just think that's the sort of thing that maybe you'd want after watching.
Right, I would want to have a snowman personified into real life that was hot and completely helpless.
For me and Olga, that's just a bit of fun, but for you,
It actually would be like actually a deep desire.
yeah, like a it's like for
That
me,
is true.
Like I can't play World of Warcraft.
Right, okay,
Because
you
in
want
case.
it too much.
I've just
Just in
been handed
case.
a note
Wait,
about
what do you want?
cavemen. That's Cavemen the show, not Cavemen. Some cavemen attempt to pass as Homo sapiens by shaving off their body hair. Other cavemen call them shavers. The central humour of the show is that caveman characters are not brutish primitives, but fully integrated into white-collar jobs. The central cavemen characters are effete modern city dwellers. They must also endure racial epithets such as MAGA, a pun based on Cro-Magnon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would definitely watch that.
Yeah, it's worth watching like 15 minutes of so that you have it as a reference
Tell
point
you what, I've got
for
therapy
future
later
discussions.
online, and I'll in the window I'll have that on the side just in case.
Yeah.
When she talks, that I can do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much does your therapist talk compared to how much you talk?
She talks almost nothing. She says almost nothing. Well, at the end we have a big thing at the end, but during it, sometimes she'd be like, "And how did you?" But then when she says that, then I can watch a bit of the show.
Right, yeah.
And then
And
What
you
are
put
you
her on mute.
what are you in therapy for? Come on.
on this
Spill it
on a
out.
podcast.
Let's go.
On a podcast.
Let's go.
Let's do it. I'll go after you.
Okay then.
Let's all go. Let's all go.
That's really confronting. Yeah, that's
I'm
confronting.
a caveman.
Let's do it.
I killed a man when I was 14. I killed a man with my bare hands when I was 14. He was so strong, and I managed to do it. I can't get over it.
But that's more of a him problem than a you problem.
Well, that's what the therapist is saying. But I can't.
Yeah.
You know, it's trauma, so I can't.
That's what she might be saying, but you've never really
I've
listened.
never heard.
Yeah,
never
you're
heard
watching a
what
show
she's
about
saying.
cavemen. You're not even
I
listening.
always make sure that I say more than I'm always winning. I say at the end I say I've won.
You can't punish yourself for people who let themselves be killed. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't know that because again, as you're talking, I want to turn the show back on. You know, as you're saying anything, I just don't want to listen. It's about me.
When I used to go to therapy, I discovered something which is, I think it's quite a common meme to be like, oh, it's great if you get a laugh out of your therapist. But I discovered that the highest thrill is to get a what out of your therapist. I used to manage one of those usually about once a session. That was pretty good.
I don't think I've ever achieved a what, but I think that my therapist maybe prides herself on not being a what therapist. I think she prides herself on like hearing the most shocking thing and going.
I like when she tries to keep her face very still, but I can see.
Yeah,
I can see
yeah.
I can see it going like, whenever.
I used to have an old therapist that misremembered the names of all of the main characters in my life, and it
Write them down.
What,
girl.
like George R.R. Martin?
Yeah. Like she used to call my brother Felix, and I'm like, that's just not his name. Like, obviously, that's the name of somebody else's brother. One of your other clients. You're getting them mixed up.
Yeah.
They've all got brothers.
They've all got brothers.
Are you seeing other patients?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what this
It
is?
made me feel really unimportant.
Yelling out the wrong
'Cause
name during therapy.
I'm like, surely I'm your most interesting client.
Yeah.
But I'm obviously not, because my life's actually really boring. It's just broth.
Have you said that before to your therapist?
No, but I do think it.
Yeah.
going to another therapist about your first therapist. Being like, I don't think she's really interested in me. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. My therapist is, sometimes I kind of really want to get to the point, and she talks so much about the thing that I'm like, well, yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I want to do the other thing.
I've definitely had that.
And then
Where
at the
they
end of the
like
session, I'm like,
over-focus on my dad, and I'm like, we're never going to solve that one.
Yeah. That's not
You're
what
like,
I'm
Dad,
here
stop.
for.
I mean,
Yeah.
Extremely focused on Olga's dad, like the therapist and FSB handshake.
Yeah, I just want to get to the meat of what I want to talk about.
I've decided I'm anti-therapy. Very Scientology of me.
Mm.
That's my new right-wing.
What do you do
thought.
instead?
Okay.
Even though I have had therapy in the past, I do think, obviously, we've gone too far with it. I think it's all
Yeah, men have
capitalism.
started getting it.
Oh, it's awful.
But I think it's the fact that like people are incapable of like human connections anymore, and so now you pay someone to tell them your problems.
Yeah.
And it's
also
like
knowing your
you used to
problems
talk
actually
to your friends
sometimes
about this.
makes it worse. I find
that
sometimes
again?
when you start therapy, you actually get worse for a bit because you're like suddenly aware and someone's validated.
You're
that
constantly
you should
triggered
feel
because you're constantly talking about it.
exactly. And also, I think that everyone is like there's a difference between
Therapy's
being able
bad.
to get to the intellectual limit of all of your problems, and then you actually don't get rid of them. You just know what they are more.
So real.
That's like that thing.
That's so real.
Someone who is really into Krav Maga, which is an incredible sentence,
Okay.
once told me that there's like a thing that like Krav Maga teachers talk about, which is that when you start doing it for like about 6 weeks in, people become convinced that they're like Jason Bourne, and you have to do it quite a bit longer before you realize that actually there are lots of people that could easily kill you,
Yeah.
and that are much better at fighting than you are. And so therapy is kind of like that. Like 6 weeks in, you're like emotional Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
You're like, I could gaslight
And
anyone.
that's where I
Yeah,
quit.
yeah, yeah.
And that's where I
powerful.
always leave the therapy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm done. Thank you so much. Also, to be clear, obviously some types of therapy are valid and needed. Obviously.
Yeah.
There is nuance.
I loved
I
you
just
addressing
don't
the
think you
camera
need
there.
better help, okay?
Yeah.
You don't need better help.
Also, some people don't need to be validated that much. You know,
Yeah.
we've got enough access to validation everywhere. You know that Jemima Kirk Instagram
You
story?
think about
you think about yourself too much.
It's literally that,
That's
though.
what it is. That's the issue that many people have. Just
Touch grass.
stop thinking about yourself.
That was an incredible sentence. You know that Jemima Kirk Instagram story, and then
She
you
knew
were
straight
straight
away.
there.
Yeah.
She
That
knew
was-
before you even
obviously.
finished what it was.
That's like when Riley and Pierre start talking about
Yeah.
like the medieval Norse empire or something,
Yeah.
and then like
Just
me
like
and you were like,
the
what?
ex-cast members of Girls' Instagram stories from like 8 years ago. I'm like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Ancient texts, ancient texts.
The
the
tablet,
most
yeah.
niche thing ever.
Ancient tabernacle. The tabernacle.
But yeah, everyone's thinking about themselves too much. Everyone just needs to like, you know, when I was feeding those sheep, I was like, yeah, the sheep matter right now, not to me,
Mm.
but they matter to someone.
I'm just getting their cake.
I'm giving them cake, and in that moment, I'm not thinking about like the tone that I'm using in the text to my mum. You know,
Right. But are you
Mhm.
Instagramming the sheep?
I actually didn't,
That's huge.
but
That's
I
growth.
did think about doing a dump for the end of the year, but then I was like, it would be
Don't we all?
it would be
New Year's Day.
glamorizing a year that actually was, if anything, just interesting. You know.
Mm.
Or did you take a picture of the sheep and you realise these don't look good on camera? Like
Sheep,
it's just
I tried to do 0.5 for a sheep.
Uh-huh.
The sheep were like, show me. I was like,
Portrait mode.
it was weird. It blurred.
Uh-huh.
Sheep look bad on a 0.5. Donkeys look good. Sheep look,
The ass looks even bigger on a donkey.
Mm.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
we
yeah.
like that.
Going out to a donkey like you're insecure.
Yeah.
Don't know what for.
Do you guys have any resolution?
Mm.
Less
That's a
screen
no, big
time.
no for me then. Big
Yeah.
no. If we have to go,
Mm.
probably a
Mm.
no.
Stop falling in love with women who leave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my one too.
Well, thanks for. I mean, you think that being my oldest friend in comedy would kind of make me feel more comfort.
Mm.
Mm.
But as soon as you come out like to what are you in therapy for? Absolute assault.
To be
my
fair,
friend.
in comedy,
If you
it's a
want any of
massive
this cut-
caveat there.
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oldest friend in comedy, like in comedy, is a huge caveat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to that.
yeah.
Like,
that's an
there's something-
asterisk that's bigger than the
Yeah.
text.
Something
Yeah.
so charming about oldest friend, so wholesome, and then as soon as you add in comedy, it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah, sure.
we have a deeply toxic relationship.
But I think
Immediate barbed wire.
if it was oldest friend normal,
Yeah.
there'd be worse issues.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I went to a school reunion, and I thought to myself, I would kill every single one of these people and not feel a flick of emotion. And then I wrote a whole show about it. Do you know what I
Wait,
mean?
Yeah.
am I making this up or did you go to an all boys school?
No, mixed
Oh.
school, mixed school.
I guess you just have that vibe.
No, yeah, no, I just had the vibe of someone that's never been touched before. Yeah, sure. yeah,
Do you want any of this cut? I feel
No,
really
no, it's fine. No, we live by the sword, we die by the
Yeah.
sword. That's fine.
He's
That's
not
okay.
a coward. We respect
No,
that.
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, you really give all boys.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm.
Because you have a full
So
heart
tell
on
me-
whenever
tell-
you speak to us.
Tell me about that.
You just seem, you give the vibe of somebody that like became familiar with women after puberty.
Mm.
I guess I didn't talk to many of them
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
after puberty.
So you were all boys lifestyle, but mixed. You were forced to be mixed.
I had several just. I had like something so embarrassing happen to me at school that like no one talked to me after that.
What was that?
What happened?
So basically, okay. It's sports day, and so
How old are you?
I'm probably about 16, I think. I've just become long. So like I was the shortest guy in my school and then became the tallest guy like over a year. So my body was, I mean, my body is now still quite crazy looking. But can you imagine when there was no meat on the bones? You know what I mean? Like a spider.
Completely smooth.
Yeah.
What are the proportions of your body?
Really long legs, really long. Like my body is almost like it's like
Like a daddy long legs.
yeah, it's like a I don't know, it's like a meatball with spaghetti coming out of it.
Do you look like you're in Bamzuki?
Like Mike Wazowski.
Like Mike Wazowski.
And just a massive eye.
Like Mike Wazowski, yes.
It's reminding me of, do you remember Bamzuki?
Who's
The
Bamzuki?
show presented by what that guy, where they like had, it was almost like Robot Wars, but they made digital monsters that were like,
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I remember it.
It was almost like Robot Wars is an incredible start.
yeah, it was almost like Robot Wars, but it was digital, and they made, and they would like fight two monsters, and they would be like a massive pink round body with like cogs whirring made of spikes and like really weirdly long legs, like the most fucked up animals
It's like
you can
mean
imagine.
Pokemon.
Yeah, like mean Pokemon, and they'd make them like fight to the death.
Yeah.
And the way that you're describing your body, age 16, the way that you're describing it is bringing up for me Bamzuki.
Well, I'm very pleased to have
Thank
you
you.
reunite with that memory.
Yeah.
So school sports.
So
day.
school sports day. I'm a long boy, so I'm doing a lot of the long boy events. So I'm doing like the high jump. I'm doing the long jump.
The rack.
The rack. Yeah.
His tolerance for the rack was incredible.
And then someone was unable to do the 800-meter race, and I just said, "I'll step in. I'll just do that because I was feeling." Because also the stuff I was doing is not very tiring.
Yeah, it's
So I
like
was
3
like-
steps.
Yeah,
You've got
it's like
this.
3 steps.
Yeah.
You got this. So I do the race, and then we start the race. I race ahead. I'm like thinking, this is what I was born to do. Finally, there's some other purpose. I don't realize that you have to pace yourself in a 800-meter race. Like I sprint ahead, and then I realize, in the last 100 meters that like I'm out of juice basically. They're catching up. I'm like desperate and also the whole school. That's where the whole school is. So the whole school is by the finish line in that sort of stretch. As I'm finishing the race, I fully pass out.
Do you cross the line?
No.
Oh.
So I fully pass out, and I don't really remember. But I remember waking up with the St. John's guys, and then they're like, "Are you okay?" But it's slowly like
St. John's ambulance, not like heaven.
Yeah.
The disciples of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Sorry about the ending, but that was the end for you. And we don't know what we're going to write.
Like
on the
I woke up and I saw
gravestone.
someone holding a book and a key, and it was really weird in robes.
And then it was dawning on me what that would have maybe looked like after I'd recovered, and I was like, and it's really bad because my friends didn't make fun of me for it.
Yeah.
Do you know when it's like that's off limits? Like it was so embarrassing that they were like, if we even touch, you might have to go a different school or something.
I mean, I know it sounds like it was traumatic for you, but that doesn't even come close to bleeding through your trousers. You know what I mean?
No,
I
but
did that.
But
I
you
did
didn't
that.
bleed through. You didn't bleed through your trousers for the whole school. So like they're set up in rows, like it's a show. Like it's like you're watching you're like watching The Lion King.
I'm really
but
sorry.
But it's a boy falling over, not completing a race, and have the other people run past him, and then very slowly, what I imagine is some paramedics come over and lift them onto a stretcher and pull them off in complete silence. Like my whole school watching
I'm so
with the
sorry.
parents.
There's something amazing about being
Do you know what I mean? It's like an event. Like everyone would have been like, "Did you?" But we were all there.
Yeah.
With the whole school.
Yeah.
There was
Dad is like, I'd commit seppuku if that was my boy.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd do it right
100%.
here.
Yeah, big time. Big
Okay.
time. Then
I
it was
hear you.
it was an audience. It was like this was like when you go to a classroom they put Shrek 2 on.
And
Couldn't
in
be
that
more
Also,
clear.
it's
silence,
like you have. Sorry, go.
Oh, sorry. I mean, just in that silence, you realized that you wanted to fill it with laughter. That's
Yeah.
when you decided to be a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
to
do that
have
on stage
control
every day.
over the crowd.
I run on and I pass out and crash onto the floor.
You already hate your body so much as a 16-year-old that in the brief moment where you have confidence in it, and then you
It
don't,
lets you
then
down.
it's if your body fails you, that's awful.
Yeah.
Like one girl had to get a helicopter come to rescue her on bronze DV.
Oh my god.
Surely
Not
a
even-
Land
Not
Rover
even
would
silver.
suffice.
We still talk about it every
Not
day.
even
The
worth-
weirdest, it was
Obviously,
during the
can I-
volunteering. It wasn't even the expedition.
Yeah, it was just a volunteering in a nursing home.
Just
She was
a
like,
soup
"This
kitchen,
stinks."
just calling in the helicopter. I can't do this.
And I think about that every day.
Do you have trauma that shaped you from high school?
Anyone? Probably not. But I well, no, so much. But once, so we had these electric gates at our school that you had to put the passcode in. And once in year 7, I was like, the gate would close and I was like, oh, I need to, my bus was right there. I was running for it and I got wedged into the gate, backpack on, all of my key rings like jangling in the wind.
Oh my God.
And
what's the size of the backpack relative to you at this point?
Like, it's like 50% of me.
Okay, yeah.
But also
nice.
I was a super morbidly obese year 7 with a bob and a unibrow, if you can imagine that. And I think my backpack was bright. It was like an orange and pink dog tooth vibe with about 18 key rings that were all like this big. And I got wedged and I had to wait. And I think like...
Wait, so they didn't go either way? They just stopped?
No, they all got stuck. And I think I've blocked this out. It's now coming back to me. I need to do EMDR to like tap this out of my nervous system.
I'm so sorry.
I think I remember the name of the girl that let me out, and she was in year 11. And it was like, again, she didn't even laugh. She was like, I'll just put the code in to release you.
Oh God.
And I just was like, thank you, and just walked away.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm really
Did you
sorry
make
that
the
I
bus?
just did that to you, Bella.
No, it's okay.
No.
And then I had to walk and wait at the bus stop with everyone else who probably, they all saw her as well.
Oh
Yeah.
fuck. I'm really sorry.
That was the worst thing that happened to me at school. But I do remember something that was really funny that didn't happen to me. Do you remember CCF, the like army training thing?
Oh yeah, the cadets. Yeah.
And there used to be like everyone used to stand in the town hall or whatever to do a day of stuff, and there were 16-year-olds, and one of them would always faint because they just had to stand for like 2 hours, and that was really cool.
So you saw someone faint.
Yeah, seeing a teenage boy
In front of a lot of people as well.
seeing a teenage boy that's trying to be macho, just
Holding a gun, I assume.
holding a kind of, I guess, like a fake. I don't think
Fake
it was
gun?
real. Yeah,
Yeah.
but seeing somebody overestimate their strength as a small boy
Yeah.
trying to be a man is good.
They should give the cadets live ammunition, I think.
Yeah,
I think
I
that would
agree.
be fun.
Yeah.
Just-
Make
Teenage
it,
boys
make it more
just-
American.
yeah.
You know?
Put maybe more risk into having boys hold them whilst they're on the verge of fainting too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
You're
maybe
not allowed the safety
they
catch on.
They're all holding a landmine.
Yeah.
You know.
No, they're all stood on a landmine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they
Gotta
never
keep
leave.
standing.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Mr. Beast. You know, last to
Oh my God.
last to take your foot off the landmine doesn't explode or whatever it is. You know.
Russian roulette, but for landmines.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast Influencer Academy.
Yeah.
In middle school, I got an anonymous Valentine's card
Ooh.
that was like, I really like you, and it was completely anonymous.
Oh no.
And my best friend in school at the time was like, I think it's from this guy. We all think it's from this guy. It has to be that guy. And then in front of the whole class, I was like, thanks for the card. And he was like, it wasn't me. And I was like, you don't have to say that. I know it's you. And he's like, it's literally not me. And I was like, come on. And everybody was watching that. And then like we started class and whatever. And then later I found out that it was the best friend who sent it.
Whoa.
Ex-best friend.
Ex-best friend, obviously. She now has a weight loss app.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Why do you think I'm a comedian?
Well, I feel like there is a certain amount of trauma that happens to you where it's a fork in the road, and it's either comedian or weight loss app. That's what it is. Those are your two options.
That was your parting as friends.
Yeah,
you took those separate and
But
yet
it is a horseshoe in a way.
It was like
the
in the
weight loss
Fast and
app needs the
Furious.
comedian, and then the comedian needs the weight loss app. You know?
Yeah. I use it every day.
Yeah, exactly.
It's how we keep in touch.
Yeah, just make a profile that pretend you're her, and then add like 18 Mars bars every single day, and she'll be like, "It's not me."
it would be fun to like be the weight loss app person, but be like just have like utter contempt for the people using it. Just be like scrolling through, like a hard-bitten detective, like drinking whiskey and scrolling through people's like 18 Mars bars. These people disgust me. The filth of this city. It's my job to clean them up.
This has unlocked another memory for me. So
Yes, now we're cooking.
in year 7, again, another year 7 one, this was an all-girls private school in West London, obviously an anorexia zoo, and one of our projects,
Which is just an underfunded zoo,
Yeah.
really.
and one of the bits of homework we had to do was keeping a food diary for a week and then reading it out to
Wait,
everybody.
what class is this?
Biology.
Shut the fuck up.
And then we had to
That's
weigh
fun.
ourselves, and he put our weights
No,
on the board.
no.
And obviously I was 11 years old, and guess what? I was 80 kilograms. It's not a big deal, but having that number be
Why are they
public
doing
knowledge.
this? Why are they doing this?
Jesus
I
Christ.
don't know.
Biology.
It was
Biology.
really bad. And I do remember lying so profusely on my food diary. I was like, I had 1p, because obviously I wanted to be dainty.
Mm.
And reading it out, and the looks of like, this bitch is lying.
Her mouth is full.
Her mouth is full. As I'm reading it out, that
You're
was
nervously holding a big jar of broth. Like,
spilling it everywhere.
Are you drinking potato?
And I do remember that memory being that was bad.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
horrid. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. Can I just say, what is the ultimate consistency of broth to potato? Like, what's the ratio?
Well, the broth has a bit of potato in it, but then I add mash. And that makes it really, I would say it's when it
Like a Slurpee?
snows and then it rains.
You're getting an
Yeah.
Irish shake of the head
It's that.
here.
It's like a kind of slushy, but it's warm and starchy.
is it basically, are you even gloop?
It's
is it
not.
gloop?
It's less viscous than gloop. It's more sleety. It's like warm sleet.
You can't drink it with a straw. No.
This is the mulled
a
slushy.
thick-
Do you remember when we had
a
Sean
thick
McLaughlin on and we were talking about how would you have a hot slushy? How would it be hot and yet have the consistency
Yeah,
of a
instead of
slushy?
ice, you're using mashed
Yeah,
potato.
we were talking about like rolled
Mash.
oats or arborio rice or something.
Mash
but
is
this is interesting.
tremendously versatile in the consistency that it can achieve. You can
Right.
dry it out, you can have it quite hard.
TV executives
Almost
in the
crumbling.
1970s. Mash is incredibly
Or you
versatile.
could make it, I think you could probably have it through a straw. It depends on the broth to mash ratio.
And whether you're using like a boba straw as well.
Yeah, exactly. If you're using a boba
Ooh.
straw.
Well, that's for the peas.
What do you want in your boba? I'll just get a mashed potato at the bottom
Mash.
of the. I'll just
That's my
have
boba
the
tea, it's
mashed
like
pellets,
tea,
please. at the
yeah.
Come
bottom.
to Yorkshire boba. Gravy and mash served in big Yorkshire.
It's called boba grommet.
Straw made out of hollowed out Savoy. It's fun that in the UK we have a horrible sausage that has a special name.
Mm,
And
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's called that.
mm.
What's it called?
Savoy. It's like a sausage you get at a chip shop. It's bright red. Looks like a
Oh.
dog penis.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it has an outside I can only describe as plasticky.
Mm.
It's like a big Frankfurter, but with
But
like
it's
a
not the
horrid
one that
bright
they-
red exterior.
It's different to the one that they batter.
Yeah.
Or did they batter the big red one?
Okay. The producer Tom
they
Hansen.
batter
Wouldn't
this.
you like to know?
The
Weather
etymology
boy.
of the word Savoy. The word is believed to be derived from Middle French servelat or servelat. Sorry, those are spelled differently, but they really pronounce the same. Originating from the Old Italian cervella, pig brains. Ultimately from the Latin cerebrus, brain. It is first known use in the English language. Its first known use in the English language in this meaning was 1784. Cervelato is still the name of the sausage in Italy. It is longer and thinner than standard Italian sausages.
Yeah, but is it made out of brains?
I don't. I think it's just made of horrible bits of pig.
Why
that's,
is it
that's
so
kind
red?
of what a Savoy looks
I feel like they're
No.
dyeing it red.
Yeah.
That's
I
not
don't
real.
mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind a bit of food colouring.
I think
Yeah.
British food has had worse.
Yeah.
You. I was with you when you had a pickled egg for the first time.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah. I've never
Yeah.
seen you hate something actually. Like you're very like open-minded about food.
I love hard-boiled eggs. That's like one of my biggest passions. And number two,
What a
also
sentence.
Hard boiled.
hard-boiled, but definitely it's an eating disorder thing where
Hard-boiled
it's like I know
eggs.
exactly how many calories it is. Anyways, doesn't matter.
It's
But
like a lot of bad guys in
Actually,
this
you
town.
don't. Are you weighing the egg?
honestly, all I can say is it's so nice to be able to queen out like this
Yeah.
about eating disorders. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I love hard-boiled eggs. I love pickled things. I will eat anything pickled. I love pickled. So I was like two of my favorite things coming together. But what I didn't realize is I thought this was going to be a hard-boiled egg, regular texture, but flavored like something pickled. When in reality, the pickling liquid changes the texture of an egg to something so tight and rubbery that it is unbearable.
I think we were also, it didn't help that we're eating it in the most depressing place in the world, which was a waiting room for a ferry in England. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Oh.
can you think of a sadder place in the world than a waiting room for a ferry in England in Portsmouth? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
Sorry,
oh my
Portsmouth.
God. Yeah, sorry.
Clean up your act though.
Yeah.
And then because it's been in that pickling liquid for so long, the egg yolk becomes like crumbly, like almost dusty. You know what I'm talking about?
What?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the skin of the egg different from the inside of the egg when it's pickled?
No.
Is it tough?
I think the whole thing is tough.
It's
Ugh.
hard. It's hard. really hard.
I've never had a pickled egg.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, I've never. You see them in the chip shop, but you know to stay away.
Yeah. Looks
Yeah.
like a boiled
I
eye.
didn't know.
Like, a
I didn't
Wally,
know.
fine, but a pickled
What's
egg.
a Wally?
A Wally is what they call gherkins in chip shops.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I had
Yeah.
that just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Big gherkin is great.
Yeah, it is.
Ugh.
But what about the ones that are? Do you know the Big Mama ones in America that are sold unrefrigerated? Terrifying.
Oh, the one
What?
that come in the sachet of,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In the
of
packet,
liquid.
the packet?
Yeah.
I've just seen them.
Wait, sorry, what
They've
is it?
actually
believe my-
just dropped in petrol stations in
Oh,
the
really?
UK.
Okay, huge.
Yeah.
huge
Wait, is this
news.
the bag of eggs? No.
What are you talking
What's
about?
the
The bag of eggs.
Yeah, have you not seen this? I'm pretty sure it's in America or maybe Canada. In the supermarket. I'm looking at Tom because he just feels like the sort of person who would know about this. You can buy like a bag of eggs in the supermarket.
You can buy a
Are they
bag of eggs
pre-boiled?
and a pickle in a bag, and you can put them together and have a
Yeah.
great time at school.
Yeah, they're like peeled but boiled.
Oh, that's like. I bet that's like gym rat food.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's like a big, you know, like the bags that rotisserie chickens come in, the hot ones. It's like that, but with full of eggs.
Some of my favorite TikTok content is like really beefy guys going around a grocery store and being like, "This is a great source of protein."
Get you
Yeah.
protein. Yeah.
And I bet he would
yeah.
absolutely love a bag of eggs.
Yeah, oh, I'd absolutely love a bag of eggs. No one who has to be around him 3 to 4 hours later would love him eating a whole bag of eggs. But and also the bag of eggs does exist in a kind of philosophical dialectic with the bag with a rotisserie chicken in it.
Totally.
They're kind of like different
Right.
stages of the.
But a bag
Yeah.
of eggs is quite disconcerting because a bag is so loose and eggs are so like they don't tessellate together.
It's wet in there.
Ew.
It's really wet.
Fighting over each other in their bag.
That's not good. It
Bouncing
should be
off each other.
that's why cartons exist so that eggs can be organized in some way.
Yeah.
But I guess those are boiled in the bag, right?
Yeah,
The way that a
yeah.
chicken is cooked,
There
the
is-
eggs are cooked as well.
There are certain receptacles that are wrong. It's like in Canada, they also sell milk in bags, which shouldn't happen.
No, bad. Or
No.
like when they sell juice in milk cartons
You're not a fan? Really?
because there's milk in there. I know there's not milk
okay.
in there, but I feel like there's milk in there.
Spiritually, it's where milk
Yeah,
belongs.
it's the spiritual place of milk.
It's the house of milk.
You know when you used to go like grocery shopping with your mum and she'd get you a snack to eat on the way home?
Yeah.
Mm.
Me and my brother would be given a full rotisserie chicken to eat on
split?
the way home to split, and we would
Like
eat
Vine
it.
Cubs.
We would eat it on and we would eat it on the way home from Morrison's in Acton with our hands, and then we would come
Was
home.
your, was
the
your
car.
mother
In
the
the
fat
car.
one from Super Size versus Super Skinny? She's like, I'm training you up
I
to
would
my
like to
diet.
say that you've really stepped into the Riley's chair
Okay.
Yeah.
because Riley very much would eat a whole rotisserie chicken
While walking as
while
well.
walking on the way home before he gets
They're
there.
so gorgeous.
They are
And then we
delicious.
would come home and play on the Wii Fit without washing our hands. We get grease all over the remote. And then, you know what I
Oh,
You know what I love
mucky
about the
house.
Wii Fit is how
It's so
Absolute muck.
time to counteract this whole rotisserie chicken.
Let's
But
zero
that's what I
sum
love
this
about the Wii
exercise.
Fit is it was just
Mum hoovering
so
gravy out of the Wii Fit.
if you spill gravy on the Wii Fit board, it's immediately like you are too fat to use it. As soon as gravy contacts the surface.
I also love that like the first thing that Wii Fit does is weigh you. And then categorize. So it'd be like you'd be like a 7-year-old being like, let's play the Wii Fit, and then the first thing you get told is you are obese. And I remember like once
I know that. I've been to biology class. Okay.
And then I remember this was way before. This was probably when I was like in year 4. And then I remember one time when we just had a rotisserie chicken, and I went on the Wii Fit and I was only overweight, and me and my brother were like, yeah. That was us, a small win.
That's lazy parenting.
Yeah.
To be like,
Yeah.
do you think the kids are going to be okay? It's like, if we get them a Wii Fit, we can throw a chicken into the back of the car and they can fight over it like literal hyenas.
I think it just stopped us fighting. The only time we weren't fighting was when we were just eating hot meat. And it's not bad for you, it's just hot meat.
It's like when they throw a side of
just
beef
hot
into the
meat.
crocodile enclosure at the Australia Zoo. Like
A
just
full rotisserie chicken. Wait, so you belly, you're in the back of
from
the car.
Morrison's
for
as
this.
well. Like not
Yeah.
even a good one.
So Just I don't know.
Well,
like
remember in the early
Schitt's Creek or something.
2000s, there was a writer called Tucker Max, and he would write these like books about
Tucker Max would be a great drag queen name.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
incredible.
Okay, can I just very quickly say three things?
To the point where we should take it off of him and reassign
vis-a-vis
it.
Tucker Max, my boyfriend and I watched the porn parody of Die Hard over Christmas. That was called Fuck Free or Die Hardcore.
Okay.
And
It's weird because Die Hard is better as a porn name than what we came up with. Yeah. Or like Die Soft would have been a fun.
Yeah.
Once you've come, then you can die.
you know
yeah.
who wrote Fuck Hard or Die Hardcore? Someone called Vic Legina.
Vic
Which I do think
Legina.
is the greatest
Vic
name of all time.
Yeah, great.
Sorry.
Hey, I'm Vic Legina, and I run the biggest Chrysler dealership in Newark. Yeah, anyway, sorry, please continue. And I never eat pussy because it's gay.
Also in the credits to that porn parody was also the name Juiceca, which I love. A fun twist. Sorry, that's because of Tucker Max, but also I'm bringing up Tucker Max because in the early 2000s he was writing all these books about like him fucking, and they were called like I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell, and they're all like this like fuck boy sort of I fuck a lot, I fuck. And anyways, so the book came out, no one knew who he was, so he would call into local radio stations and TV stations and say, oh my God, I can't believe they published this horrible book about this man. This is horrible. And so he got free press coverage because local news stations would be like, this book is being boycotted, even though he created the boycott himself.
Wow.
So that is very Joaquin Phoenix.
That is
Sorry,
very Joaquin Phoenix.
I've learned over Christmas that not all conversations end in a laugh. Some of them could be purely
Yeah,
informational.
but that's what Christmas is you have the information.
Yeah.
You go, you know.
Yeah, so now you have the information.
I spent Christmas with a random person at Christmas, and my mum she just invited a random like Indonesian guy because there's loads of people in London who are just like on their own, and Indonesian people especially apparently. She invited one Indonesian man round, and I was just trying to engage with him. He's a surgeon, and then I asked him if he'd ever seen Wallace and Gromit, and he said no, and then I just gave up. Just put the
He
TV
hates
on.
vulgar machinery.
Yeah.
He finds it imprecise.
He can't watch it since his dog also got turned into a robot.
By him.
Yeah, the trousers he was wearing to my house were crazy. It was remote controlled by a penguin dressed as a chicken. Yeah.
If someone were to play you in a movie, Hugh, how would they go method to become you?
That's interesting.
800-meter race.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
800 meters. You gotta wear a keyboard for from 5 o'clock to midnight. You have to wear a keyboard.
Induce scoliosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd actually think I'd be very lighthearted if I didn't have to wear a keyboard from 5 to midnight. Because not only do I have to bring it to the venue,
yeah,
I then, when I get to the venue, put the keyboard on and wear it.
Yeah, you sound check
and
as
then,
well.
And then I sound check, and then when that's
Yeah.
finished, I put the keyboard back into it, and then I wear that home. So I'm actually wearing the keyboard for the entire day.
Your parents being like, Hugh was such a happy boy.
Mm.
And, then
Yeah.
and then he got that keyboard.
Yeah, I know.
He's
I
never been the
used
same.
to hum stuff on the street.
To clarify, huge. Sorry. To clarify, Huge wears a keyboard on stage.
Yeah, it's true. I think,
Like on a strap around his neck.
Yeah, it's very heavy. It's heavy, but I think that's most of it.
It's
When I got the
psychologically heavy as
keyboard.
well, it sounds. Like it's a
Yeah.
weight.
Yeah.
It's a weight you carry 24/7 psychologically. But physically you're carrying it from 5 to midnight every day.
Yeah. Also, no sleep. 0 sleep for just 10 years straight years. Then you have to do.
Yeah,
but I just think that's
that one's pretty
I
bad.
think that's a hard for Adam Driver to do that. To his wife. You know.
You're letting Adam Driver go full Scarlett Johansson for your biopic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson plays him playing him. Yeah.